Hello, frictionless families. In the next few minutes, I will be sharing with you one of the greatest tools we have used to uncover character flaws in our children that we have become blind to. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the most powerful tool that we have used in our family to uncover character flaws in our children. Now, as a parent, you can get so heads down, especially when you've got two babies in diapers and you've got a whole slew of children and you're doing laundry and dishes and you're running here and you're running there and maybe you're homeschooling. And so what happens is you can get so heads down that you begin to miss the character flaws in your own children. And so you can be completely blind to them, or you can be so exhausted that you don't even want to deal with them and you become an ostrich parent. And so I'm going to be unpacking with you over the next few minutes how you can stop being an ostrich parent and you can utilize the greatest tool that I have found for finding and seeing what those character flaws are in my children. And that is, drumroll, community. So community, the reason that it's so effective is because when you invite somebody into your home and into your house for a meal, you will see through completely different eyes. You will see through the eyes of that person, that family that has come into your home. And so maybe you know that they value respect. And so you will begin to see, are my children being respectful? Oh my goodness, they're not being respectful. They're being so disrespectful. And that will give you an opportunity to address it. After the family leaves, you address it with your children. I remember a long time ago, a woman told me, a very wise woman said, the most effective tool you will have for seeing your children as they really are is inviting other people into your home. She said, have them over regularly for meals. And so we began to do that. And we began to have people in our home. And I began to see my own children through different eyes. And, I remember one time, one of my friends, she came over for lunch and we were having a nice meal together. And we served the children. And her children began to stand on the chairs to eat. And I know she was so embarrassed, and I tried to reassure her, don't worry, please don't worry. My children have done much worse than that. And she said to me, we don't sit down and have formal meals. And it gave her an opportunity to see her children in a totally different light and then to be able to begin to address it. I want you to know, next time they came over, they were angels. They sat in their chairs. They were little gentlemen. And so that is the power of community for seeing through fresh eyes. If you can have a couple friends that you allow to speak into your life, that they're trustworthy, they love you, they're with you often enough, and you can say, if you see areas in my child's life or even in me that needs addressing, I give you permission to tell me. If you're an insecure mom, you may not be ready for that. I know I was very insecure as a young mom, but I want you to know, having people speak loving truth into our hearts in regards to our children can be half of the battle won, because you can't address it unless you know what it is you need to address. And many times we can't even see it. I remember my husband would come home from work and we'd be doing something and the children would be doing something and he'd look at me and he goes, why are you letting them do that? And I'd be like, do what? And he'd say, well, that is so inappropriate. They should not be doing that. And it's because I was, once again, so heads down that I had become blind to their character flaws and mistakes. And so having others, being in community is so powerful and so effective in helping us see through fresh eyes. When we have people into our home, it allows for great growth. You can actually shorten the length of time that you would grow in an area, because seeing other people, having accountability, and inviting them in again and seeing the growth in your home can be a tremendous shortener of growth for your children. I listened to a podcast by a pastor named Craig Rochelle. It's a leadership podcast, and he used this phrase. And this is just for organizations. I see my home as an organization, so that's why I listen to leadership podcasts. He says, you are the chief problem solver in your organization. And I began to really grab onto that idea. I am the chief problem solver in my family. So when I see a problem, I have the privilege and responsibility to solve that problem. If I don't, the pain will be much greater the longer I wait. It is worth the time and the struggle to deal with problems and address them immediately, or as soon as somebody points it out to you, or as soon as you see a character flaw. Because if you don't deal with it now, You will have to deal with it when it is a much bigger problem. So let's just take a minute and recap. Number 1, parenting is more effective when done in community. Number 2, don't turn into an ostrich parent and become blind to your children's poor habits and weaknesses. Number 3, invite trustworthy friends to give you helpful feedback for your children's behavior. Number 4, recognize that you are a chief problem solver in your family. Face your children's weaknesses head on, because the key is seeing with fresh eyes, and you will do that in community.